Okay, Mario once again, and I was able to finally remove this drum brake or brake drum from the axle last night just by tapping it with a piece of wood and a heavy hammer. So and lots of this DW40 penetrating fast-acting lubricant, penetrates rust, works on contacts, freeze corroded nuts, etc. So I've been using that. There's so many brands that you can use, but I just chose that one, and it worked like any other lubricant I would imagine would. So I was able to free this. This was wow. This was really on. I mean, if this bit of a surface area, we're talking about an inch maybe of depth, is it's difficult to remove. Can you imagine the axle, the wheel, which is about 2-3 inches in depth? You know, that would have never come out, not with this type of rust. And I don't think, like I said in another video, I don't think these wheels were ever removed from the time that the car was manufactured. I don't think they were. I think these are the original wheels. Of course, the original axle, and you can see how I've been cleaning the axle little by little, kind of sanding and using a file to just file all these ridges here. Look how bad this was. I mean, you know, if metal gets in there, it's not going to come out. You know, look how many places this has these crevices here. So I finally got it out. Now I have made this sort of fixture here. There's a clamp here underneath, just a 1 inch one inch collar. It's one of those collars that comes in halves with two bolts on the sides. So I clamped that to provide a support here, so that I can provide a tension here to see if I can get this bearing out of there. If I can push that up, I've been doing it little by little here. It's almost like a 3-jaw clamp here, except that I'm using the collar, that clamping collar as my support here, and I'm just using the same plates that come with the ball bearings. This one's a little bit bent here because I've been torquing this and just using a lot of fluid here. So I'm going to do that a little bit more later on today, but I just want to capture this as one way to get this out. Otherwise you would need a really long jaw claws, three jaw claws, you know, to get it as you typically do with the pullers here, and you know, do with support here from the ram. So that's I'm almost there with this, so I'll put this aside. What I really wanted to do in this video is capture the work here that I've been doing in order to remove the paint here. Now, I removed most of the paint, as I said in my other video, with that wire brush on the grinder, and it's been doing an excellent job of removing, but it's time consuming. So you know, this is more difficult to remove the paint on flat surfaces. You know, with the wire brush you can go around and just work your way around the tubing, but in this area here it's a little more difficult. And so in order to speed up the process, I decided just to give this stripper a try. Went to Walmart and to get some more paint, and pick up this stripper here. This has been doing an excellent job. And you can see here how the paint just better be careful here because I'm not wearing my gloves. I just took off my gloves. You know, it just peels it off. If you let the stripper do the work for you, you know, that's basically what it's supposed to do. And it's lifting more of the thicker parts of the paint, which is the way strippers work. They work best, you know, on thicker painted surfaces versus something that's really thin and onto the surface. As you can see, you know, I've been applying it little by little here. I applied it about 3 times already, and just stripping this, working with a brush, a wire brush, and a spatula here, or in this case this scraper, or what's this called? Chisel. I do have a scraper, but I gave it to my daughter so she can do some work at her place. So any scraper will work here. you need a wire brush, you know, to get into those crevices here in between the pipes and the base. But you can see the work that it's doing. The stripper is really going to town and removing this. And so I'm going to keep using this stripper just to do the remaining of this paint here. I'm going to have to flip this over, and I'll probably just do the same thing, you know, just apply the stripper. I do have these gloves that I'm wearing here. These are, I don't know what kind of gloves are these. Let's see if I can find a bag. These gloves are pretty good, but your hands get really sweaty. These are stripping and refinishing. I also picked this up in Walmart. And these are large, you know, because my hands are a little bit larger than average. Reusable gloves. So this is working really well. I just have them on this fan here, so it'll blow some air in here, so it'll dry them up before I get back and start doing this work again. So this one right here, as you can see, like I said, this one is I left the stripper there. That one I already removed it. A little more stripper there, and it'll clean up all those areas right there. This is was my biggest concern, doing it with the with the wire on the grind, with the wire stripper on the grind, with the wire. What would you call that wire? I guess you can call it wire paint stripper on the grinder, because it's got this bend here is very tight, and it's got all these areas here that the brush is never going to get, you know, to those areas there. And so this stripper is doing an excellent job of doing this. So I still have some areas there, like you see here, paint, but I'm going to use the stripper. I'm just taking my time, and the key thing here is, you know, it's very easy to get overwhelmed, you know, when you start doing this, because you say, oh my God, it's such a mess. And, you know, the way I like to attack any problem, there's no problem that you cannot attack or you cannot resolve if you take it in steps, and if your mind is set on doing that. You have to be persistent, and you have to be focused on the job and on the problem. I mean, that was quite an intense process right there, just removing that. And, you know, yeah, I had to ruin the one wheel, but I finally got it out, and I got all the other parts, and I'm in the process of removing the last bearing there, so that I can completely smooth out the shaft. The shaft still is pretty good shaft. I really like the shaft. Although I don't like the way these ball bearings and the sprocket and the brake drum was attached. You know, it's just set screws right onto the metal, which makes it difficult to remove that. So I'm going to modify that, and I'm going to come up with a sort of a high tension clamp welded onto those parts, so that I can remove those if I need to. In a much later time. I don't think that's going to happen for many years. Once I'm done with this project here, I think that's going to be it. Because then I got to start working on the other card, the 3202, which I picked up, which has shocks. There's going to be a little more work than this car right here, but it's the same process. You know, if you just take your time and you work little by little. You know, this is not a thing that happens overnight. You have to really get your mind set on that. You know, you're not going to do this in one day. You know, you have to. This is a process. But when your mind is set on that process, and that it's going to take a little time, the end result is going to be really nice. And just to give you a little taste of that, this is the end process right here. This is the end result here of the front section that I painted this. I covered this. I basically went through 2 cans of paint, doing this little by little in very light coats, and still needs a little more. But I'm going to let this bake in the sun here in Arizona sun. It's almost like a furnace. You can see how this is kind of sticking to the bottom here. So I am going to flip this over and do the other side, and then once that's done, I am going to come back and do another coat here. I did not prime this. I should have primed this, but the paint that I got, you know, this Cryline paint says, you know, it's got primer. You know, it primes and paints. It's just that it takes a little bit longer for the deep yellow to show. But you know, as you can see, it's pretty decent. I'm happy with the results. Costs. I just bought a bunch of paint. You know, this is the paint that I bought. I bought Rust-Oleum primer, which I am going to prime that, and I'm going to prime the wheel hubs. I bought some Hammer Black from Fusion, and I also bought some Hammer Silver from Fusion Paint Krylon. I was looking at the Rust-Oleum, which I typically buy Rust-Oleum hammer. This Rust-Oleum hammer, and I'm very happy with this. I use that on one of my electric go-karts. But this stuff is a lot more expensive than this stuff right here. This is about $7 a can. The Rust-Oleum is about $10. These are $12 for this primer, but it's got 20 ounces versus 12. So I just bought all this, including the stripper, the gloves, and all this paint, and I just spent $100 just in paint this time, not counting the two cans that I already went through for the other section of the go-kart, the roll cage. So we are talking about doing this yourself. We're talking about 100, 150 by the time this is done. I would say an easy $150 in stripping and painting, not counting the sanding, not counting the tools that you need. So I don't know what they charge for powder coating and sandblasting, but last time I came across some information regarding that. I think it was about 5 years ago, and they were talking about just powder coating it, $200, $300. So if you compare today's prices, everything has gone up. I wouldn't be surprised if powder coating and sandblasting all together will run you about $300-$400. So $300-$400 versus $150 doing it yourself. You got to put a little elbow grease into it. A little bit of effort doing it yourself. The saving is about half of what you would pay for powder coating. So I think it's something to consider for anybody that's doing this. I really enjoy doing the work. It is a lot of work. I'd rather not get dirty. My hands are right now they're fairly clean, but yesterday they were nasty, and it's something that I've never had to deal with. Give me something electrical, not an issue. Mechanics is something that I really I have avoided pretty much all my life. My friends used to be into their cars, and they used to do their own oil changes, brakes, spark plugs replacement, that sort of thing, and even a little more heavier work on their own cars. But I never really got into that because it's dirty work. You got to get your hands dirty. But ever since owning my own homes and having to do all this work, you have to do it in order to save some money here and there. And doing this, it's dirty work, but I really have enjoyed that. I can honestly say that because it gives you a different insight into how these things are made, how they're welded. I mean, stripping this is now really showing the how this was welded, and it's interesting to see all the armature in its raw form, and then having to paint it, starting from scratch, as you just saw that painted front section of the roll cage. It's really not bad if you take your time and you set up an area where you can do this safely, number one, and smart. You don't want to be painting inside with heaters in the cold, because then that's going to have number one, it's dangerous. When you're working with fumes, and paints do spew out fumes, volatile fumes that can ignite. And so I'm fortunate that I have this area, and I'm doing this in actually the weather here is in the hundreds, and I've been working in 115 degree weather. Lots of water, and just taking breaks in between. Just working on this makeshift canopy that I pointed before. It is something it's been bugging me a lot because it's something that I don't care for. But this black mesh, providing a lot of shade here, which is for a makeshift canopy. It's doing its work. In the meantime, until I finish this, Once I'm done with this, I'm going to work back on this section here of the roof and complete this so that I have a complete roof over this section here. The next thing is going to be the sand here, which I don't care for. I'm going to have to think about how I'm going to do this, either with pavers or just do it myself with cement. Cement is very expensive. Labor is very, very expensive when it comes to doing a cement job. I already got quotes, and it's just way beyond my. I mean, I could do it. I mean, it's not within my budget. It's not outside my budget, but it's just that I just don't like. I don't like spending, extreme amounts of money, for something that I can do it myself. Just taking my time. So I think I can whip this cement job with the help of some people that have done this before. I've done a little cement work. This I did. This is kind of a dry pour here. Cement that I did as an experiment. This little step here into my shed. It was a lot of work. It took me about a day. Something that I'll never do again. A dry pour, that is. And so in doing this area here, which is a lot more surface area, I'm thinking of doing this in sections. 10 foot by 10 foot, or maybe 8 by 8 foot sections in cement. That way it's well reinforced. Not that I'm going to put a truck here or a car, but it'll be well reinforced, so it'll prevent cracking here, and it'll provide a nice foot ground, to do this type of work. Otherwise, working in the sand, it's not that bad, provided you have a canopy here at the shading, but it's not something that you want in a work environment. This type of ground or flooring here, organic flooring. So I will. So some of the things that are in my mind here, and but this is how far I'm at. Next video, I think I'll have this completely stripped, and I'll probably do another video of that. If you don't mind these videos being step by step, it's a slow process. My videos are done in sections like this because I want to capture every step that I'm doing, step by step. So if you find this boring, that's fine. Skip over these videos. For those of you who have done this, you're pros at that. This is probably not going to be a very interesting video, but for anybody that has not done this, is my purpose of doing these videos, because who knows? Granted, like I said, I don't get a lot of views in my channel. I used to get over 100,000 views with some of my products in the early days of the internet and YouTube, but with all these algorithms that you can't say certain words, you can't be politically incorrect. There's so many things that these algorithms look for, and then if you say the wrong thing, then your views go down, and they don't promote the videos to the right people. It's kind of an unfair system in my view. I am for censoring, things that should not be, things that should be censored. Bad words, hatred, that type of thing. That should be censored. From people infusing anger on other people, or infusing their own message, saying things that are not true. So I am for that. But as far as things like this is concerned, information that can benefit somebody else, I think these videos, like I said, may not be too much for those that have done this, but for somebody new, I think it may be useful. I'm very keen on safety, and one of the first things that I mentioned, when I do these things that I execute, is safety first. I talked about the gloves. I'm wearing my mask, my face shield, and I'm also wearing my glasses, which double up is up close magnification, and also provide me safety, for my eyes. I wear gloves. I wear masks. All the right equipment that you need to do that. So safety first. So this is where I'm at, and next video, like I said, it'll be this, or maybe the full painted cart. We're getting there. Once again, this is Mario, and my company is MIA Microflight. Even though I'm working on these cars right here, radio control, ultralights, microlights. I started with miniature helicopters, selling those, and that's what got my company on the map. Stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching.